Hey, I'm Riley, and you're listening to the Trans Music Podcast, a show where we explore the art, work, lives, and politics of your favorite trans musicians. Don't have a favorite trans musician? Oh my god, this is where you get one. Over the next 12 episodes, we're going to talk a lot about music, of course. Every type of music, from metal to country, from hip-hop to indie rock, from classical to ambient industrial noise. That's a thing. We're also going to talk a lot about other stuff, like inspirations, histories, and community. We're going to talk about sex and politics and effects pedals and amps and housing and crushes and music videos and touring in a rental car. And better yet, every episode will have an accompanying artist profile full of streaming links and portraits that I took of the musicians I interviewed. I'm kind of a portrait photographer on the side a little bit. I live in Durham, North Carolina, and the locals I talk to will get profiled in the Durham Beat Arts and Culture magazine, released on the same day their episodes come out. The touring acts will get profiled on our website, transmusic.org. I'm so excited to share these interviews with y'all, so subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Trans fans for trans bands. In 2014, I got interviewed on a few episodes of a community radio show in Montreal called Transistor Radio. It was a talk show about trans people who do cool stuff, and it was run by a really interesting lady named Morgan C. I was going to school in North Carolina at the time, and I was like, hey, my school has a radio station. Why don't I start a trans radio show here? So I signed up for DJ training, and Morgan and a friend of hers named Mary Amelia, the host of Transplanet Radio, helped me assemble a list of like 500 trans musicians and bands to play on my show. Then, on the second to last week of the DJ training, I got mono. And then a few weeks later, my mom died, and then a month after that, I got some like terrifying, mysterious autoimmune conditions and spent the next 2 years in and out of doctor's offices being a professional medical mystery. Well, at that point, I'd completely dropped the ball on the radio show. I was trying to stay in school, but I had this list of bands, and I wanted to do something with it. So I started a blog, transmusic.org. And then, unlike a lot of my other projects, which like shrivel and die after a few months, I kept updating the blog. About a year ago, I said, if I could post a new track by a trans band on this blog every day for a year, I'll really commit myself to the project and make a podcast. And that's exactly what I did. That list of 500 trans bands is now more like 1,000, maybe more, and I'm getting submissions from new people every day. This community is huge, and like nobody knows about it, not even trans people. I'm going to release an episode every Sunday for 12 weeks, starting a week from today. Thanks to Morgan and Mary Amelia for all their help, and thanks to my beta listeners, especially Kenny, my one producer friend, and huge thanks to my girlfriend who always supports and encourages my quirky ideas. To end this episode, I wanted to include some clips that didn't make it into the final interviews, but still had me chuckling or scratching my head. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Trump can suck my dick.
Sweet.
Sorry, children may be listening, who are definitely not listening to this.
That's what the T in LGBT stands for, is Transformers.
Transformers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I posted an ad on Craigslist to see if anybody wanted to play music.
For real?
Yeah, it was not fruitful. I made one really good friend.
What's like your proudest dancing moment?
That's a tough one. I would say, my first one was like when I first did like my first Nutcracker with Walltown, and that was really cool because I actually got to play the Nutcracker.
And your pronouns are they, them, right?
Whatever you like.
Whatever I like. Okay.
Whatever you like.
No preference at all?
No preference. I'm used to people using them willy-nilly, so come on. As long as people aren't trying to take a bite out of me, then I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll try my best to not eat you during the course of this interview, and I think we'll probably be good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have an idea of what I'm going to do when I sit down with a guitar, and usually when that happens, I don't write a song.
I think some dogs do want to fit in. They're like really anxious around humans because they're just like, dude, I just want to make you happy.
There's no laws on bridges.
Like because it's the law of the land, and when you're on a bridge, you're not on the land.
No, cops don't hang out on bridges.
That's true.
So there's no laws, so you can just drive as fast as you want on a bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I know that your viola is not your main instrument anymore,
Right.
but true or false? The viola is the most non-binary instrument.
I think so. I can see that. I can see what you mean.
I keep coming across non-binary viola players, and I'm a
Oh,
non-binary
you mean,
viola
I thought you
player.
meant, like, the viola as a person.
No, yeah, exactly.
That
Like,
too.
the viola is non-binary. Like, it's got,
Yeah.
it's got the vibe.
The viola is a very non-binary instrument. There are a lot of cool people that play the viola. There are a lot of people who have taken the time to figure themselves out that play the viola. I don't want to, like, stereotype, though. But just, like, in my experience, like, a lot of really cool people that I come across just happen to play the viola. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
It's very queer. But I
It's a
also
super
just think-
queer instrument. It's a super, like, what are you doing in school? Something awesome. Like, that kind of instrument. Like, and also just, like, musically, like, sonically, like, it just, like, fits in between all of these other things. That are, like,
Yeah.
the main things, and the viola is, like,
It's
your
for-
support, but also its own main thing, and also the support for all these other things. It's, like, a very, like, it's a communicator instrument.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a communicator. It gets forgotten about a lot of the time.
Yeah, very true.
It's very versatile.
It is.
I think that just, like, the way that it feels is kind of queer.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I wish I had a viola. It's really weird. Like, I was a viola major and I've never owned a viola.
How did that work?
I just rented, like, all the time. Well, at one point I thought I owned a viola, but it turns out I didn't. That's a long story that I probably shouldn't talk about because it, like, involves people with reputations. But anyway, yeah, I've got a violin, though.